My ex-mother-in-law sent 6 women from her church to harass my teenage daughters in public. But instead of letting them shame us, I exposed her family's darkest secret to the entire church. I never thought my life at 46 would look like this. I always tried to keep things simple: raise my daughters, avoid drama, live quietly. But when my ex-husband died, everything exploded. The lies, the betrayal, the secrets he left behind, and my ex-in-laws, they made it all 10 times worse. Let me start from the beginning. My husband and I were already divorcing when he died. Why? Because he was cheating. And not just a one-time mistake. He had a whole affair, a second life. And with that woman, he had 2 sons. To make things even messier, that woman also passed away. The boys were left behind, orphaned. Now I felt sympathy for them. But my daughters? They couldn't handle it. They were the ones who had discovered their dad's cheating in the first place. Imagine being a teenager and finding out your father has another family. It crushed them. They told me clearly they wanted nothing to do with those boys, and I supported them. But my ex's parents didn't care. They thought they had the right to take over. First, they tried to get custody of my daughters. That's still in court. Then, they demanded to move in with me, as if I would ever agree. Not happening. Now fast forward to my younger daughter's 15th birthday. We went to the local farmer's market to celebrate. It's a fun little place. Fresh produce, baked goods, candy stalls. I gave her some cash and told her, "Go ahead, buy whatever you want." An hour later, I realized she hadn't come back. I reached for my phone to call her, but before I could, my phone rang. It was her, and she was crying. She said, "Mom, some women won't let me leave." My heart dropped. My older daughter and I ran across the market until we found her. And there she was, surrounded by 6 older women. They had her cornered. They were pointing fingers, wagging them in her face, shaming her. They told her she was unchristian for not visiting her grandparents. They told her she should be a good sister to her half-brothers. They called her selfish. They even said she would grow up to be just like me. She was 15, on her birthday, crying, shaking, terrified. I snapped. I told my older daughter, "Take your sister, pay for her things, go to the car." Then I turned to face those women. I recognized them. They were members of my ex-in-law's church, women I had once smiled at on Sundays. And now they looked at me like I was the devil. One of them sneered and said, "You're failing as a Christian woman. You refuse to obey your husband's parents." Obey? My husband had cheated. He was dead. And they still expected me to bow down. I let them have it. My voice shook with anger. The argument got so loud, the market staff asked us all to leave. But those women didn't stop. They followed me all the way to my car, circling me like vultures. That night, after I got my girls home safe, I found out what was really going on. A friend from that church called me. He said my ex-mother-in-law had posted a long sob story in the church's Facebook group. She claimed we had abandoned her and her husband. She said we left them penniless. She even said we turned our backs on the orphaned boys. And worst of all, she lied about the affair. She claimed the other woman was our surrogate. She said I rejected the babies just because they were boys. It was vile, but people believed her. She forgot one thing, though. That church, they do not tolerate cheating. And I had proof. Since my divorce wasn't finalized, I still had everything. Pictures of my ex with his mistress, text messages, emails, conversations with his parents, encouraging the cheating, and the ugliest of all, the messages where they bullied my daughters. In one, they called my girls bastards. In another, they said it was their fault their father died. And that message came just 2 days after his funeral. I wasn't just going to tell people the truth, I was going to show them. The next morning, I went to a print shop. I printed everything in full glossy color. Then I made binders. Nice, neat, and disguised to look like the church hymn books. On the first page, a picture of my ex and his mistress kissing in our living room. Clear as day. Underneath, I wrote, ex-husband's name and mistress's name, a love story. That Sunday, I walked into the church. I slipped the binders onto the back table, right next to the real hymnals. Then I walked out. By the end of that service, the gossip mill exploded. People opened the books, expecting hymns, and instead found proof of everything. The Facebook group caught fire. People were furious. Some cursed my ex. Others turned on my in-laws. The pastor had to step in just to calm everyone down. And here's the best part. My daughters received apology letters from members of the church. Real, handwritten apologies. Some even invited us to join the congregation for support. As for my ex-in-laws, they were finished, humiliated, shamed, shunned. They stopped showing up at church altogether. Later, my ex-mother-in-law posted online about how no one cares for the elderly anymore. She said her great son would have cared for her if he were alive, which was laughable. I was always the breadwinner. My ex could barely take care of himself. In the end, I didn't just protect my daughters. I showed them the power of truth. Lies can spread fast, but the truth cuts deeper. And sometimes, the sweetest revenge is letting the evidence speak for itself. So, what do you think? Did my ex-in-laws get exactly what they deserved, or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next one.